Okay, everybody, I think we're ready to start. So thank you very much for joining again. As I said, my name is Mio. I'm one of the energy software specialists at Dexma. I've got Galdrick with me.
Yeah.
He's one of our energy management specialists here as well. So I'm just going to start first of all with a couple of minutes on an intro about Dexma, and then pass on to Galdrick, and he'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the human side of energy efficiency. Okay. Just so that you know as well, there's a Q&A section at the bottom of your GoToWebinar screen, and you should be able to type in any questions that you have. We might stop halfway through, we might leave them all till the end. We'll see what kind of questions that we get. Okay, let's go. So first of all, a little bit about Dexma. So for anyone who doesn't know us, we're an energy management company. We make software. We're based in Spain. We've been in business since about 2007, doing a couple of different things. We've had our Dexel Energy Manager software out there on the market for a number of years. We work through energy services companies as our channel partners to end customers. This is just a couple of our really great energy management partners, energy services partners that we have. As you can see, we're all around the world. We do have a focus on Europe, but we are active in the Americas and Australasia and Africa as well. We've got over 250 partners now, and we're growing. And we'll show you in a second as well some of our end customers that we work with. So we think we have a great product, but there's also a few other people out there who think so as well. We've got some great reviews on Capterra, which is one of the main software reviewers, also from a couple of market research companies too. So feel free to go have a look for yourself. For a few years now, we've been taking our customers through what we call our customer energy efficiency journey in energy management. So this starts with the detection phase, trying to detect opportunities to save energy or water. Then we move to analyze, where we've maybe implemented some of these measures, and we're then looking at comparing usage now compared to usage before we've made changes. And then we're moving also into the control space of being able to actively control large loads like HVAC devices, boilers, chillers, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in any of the detector control features, feel free to get in touch with us. I'm more than happy to talk you through that. But today we'll be focusing more on some of the things in the Dexma Analyze section, which you might also know as Dexel Energy Manager. Okay, just a few of the end customers that we work with. We've shown here, as you can see, there's lots of different verticals from manufacturing to retail to public administration, government buildings, banking, telecom, all of that sort of stuff. And we've got about 1,700 active customers, and we're adding new ones every day as well. Okay, that's the little bit from me. I'm going to pass over to Galdrick now, and he'll give you a little bit of his vision of buildings as living systems.
Okay, hello everybody. Excuse me for my English, not the best.
Your English is totally fine.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we will talk about the first of all. We talk about the new vision. I think it's necessary when you are talking about human factor, and then we will. I'm going to show you some real cases. I think it's important to know that it's not a concept, it's a reality, and then we can share tools which is necessary when you improve your energy management. Okay, so let's go. What the question is, how can we include the human factor in our energy efficiency strategy? It's because of I'm sure that everybody knows, so everybody who works with energy management, and we know that it's the human factor is important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But sometimes we try to limitate the influence. We are always trying to exclude this factor, but I think it's not the best way. We have to understand that if there are people in buildings, we will have to work with the human factor.
Mm-hmm. And if we're worried about economics as well, often influencing human behaviour can be one of the cheapest ways to reduce consumption and so forth too, right? So
it's the low fruit.
Yeah, the low-hanging fruit, absolutely. So we're talking about bottom line. It's something really important to know about.
Yeah, and the other question is that I think it's not about an enemy. Yeah, the human factor is not your enemy. It's not enemy. I think it's the ally. We try to convince you that you can turn into ally who is an enemy. You can take advantage of this situation. And so the first step is to change your mind. If you want to get new results, you need to change your mind. We need to have a new vision of buildings. And my proposal is to look at the buildings as a living system.
Okay, so what is a living system?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Living system is not when you write when you're looking for this concept in Google. It's about green buildings with full of plants and trees.
Which is great as well.
Yeah, but it's not about that. Yeah, I think it's all the buildings are living buildings. It's not about the future. Every building is a shell to protect a community, a living community. That's why we need to understand the building as a global concept. I think it's very important. It's the first step. This idea born 10 years ago when I was in a research team in an architectural school, where we were looking for research in energy management.
Okay.
We at the energy management, we use the architectural school as a real laboratory. Okay.
And we're going to be seeing some of those results later, right?
Yeah. So I think it's the first case. We didn't know that we were working with the human factor. We were confused there, but it was the beginning.
Okay, some accidental findings.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, great.
It's but we tried to implant actions. We tried to implant actions in order to improve the interface, the building, and we tried to change the energy management of the building. And we first simulate we had this energy simulation, and then we implant the real action, and then we compare the results.
Okay.
But we had problems because the results didn't coincide. It was a different results. It was it's always you can think it's about little mistakes or little, but at the end we understood that it was about a concept.
Okay, so there was whole factors that we were missing out of the equation.
We had to change our vision, and this is our proposal, my proposal. A living building is an interface and the community. The building is a living community that lives in an artificial shell. And if you want to see this in a graph, you can see that interface is between community and environment. And the community, in order to live, they need energy and resources, water, materials. But in this case, it's about energy and expel waste. Okay, if you want to design, if we want to manage sustainable buildings, we can improve this interface in order to reduce this exchange. But it's not only about to change the interface, this artificial interface. It's not only about that, it's about to manage this interface. How the energy managers is our mission, because this management influencing the final impact in the environment. That was where we were working, and we try to introduce new instructions more efficient instructions to the energy manager of the building.
Okay, so you're telling energy managers take these kind of couple of measures, and then you should be able to see some results. Okay.
That was logical. I think was a logical way to work. But what happens? Happened something obvious, that this was not a machine. The energy manager is a person. It's not a machine. When you introduce new instructions, his reaction is different. Sometimes he has emotions, he has feelings, he has his history, he has, for example, fear. Yeah.
Yeah, because every energy manager isn't the same. They've all come from different backgrounds, different levels of experience. They've had different people working with them. Sometimes they've been working for decades and they're very set in their ways and so forth. And we want to work with everyone who's part of this building, right? To make a good result.
Yeah, and the problem that was an explanation why the simulation and the reality was different, because the instruction was not implanted exactly what we want. But the problem was the energy manager, or was our vision? I think it was our vision, because there was not one energy manager. There was, for example, the cleaning staff was a energy manager, because they were everywhere in the building, every space. They would switch on and switch off lights, they open windows, they were always managing the interface, but we didn't see that, but it was obvious.
So they were like the unofficial energy managers.
Exactly.
Every time they come in to clean, they would open windows, close windows, turn lights off, change thermostats, and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that was important, and in this case, especially the students were energy managers too, and because they were too many hours in the building, they opened the window, Yeah, we had a lot of managers, not only the official, the unofficial, and there were a lot of people managing the interface, and for us was a chaos. It was impossible to
chaos and impossible.
Yeah, it seems that, but at the end we discovered that the director of this school was not a manager, but he had a huge influence of the real managers, and that was important. At the end, we had a network of relations, and all these relations influenced at the last the energy management. We had a complex system, and if you understand the building as a living system with interface and community, something changed. For example, this community, this behavior depends on the energy culture. It was not only individual knowledge, was the relations and the story and the energy policy. There is always an energy policies. Nothing, but there was always. But sometimes it's important energy, sometimes it's just nothing. But it's always a policy, and we understood that, and we began to work with that. But when you are working with interface, it's not the same as working with community. With a community, you need different tools and different skills. It's not the same. And for example, for us, we were architects and engineers. We didn't know anything about knowledge,
Because this was a sociological kind of project in the end, right? It was a systems thinking type of approach to solving the problem.
Yeah, but for us was difficult, because we were at the beginning of that. It was obvious, but we were not experts in energy in behavior.
Behaviour.
But we began and we started to change. And for example, we discovered that the key when you are working with the behavior of the people is to introduce new information to the system, and you need to communicate the information to all the nodes of the network. That it's very important.
Okay. So disseminate information and disseminate to everybody that's there, not just the dedicated energy manager, but everybody else has impact.
Because if you accept that there are many managers, you need to communicate information to all the nodes. For example, one expression of this vision is that when you are working with the interface, any action you do, you have the reaction, the impact is immediate. You change the light, and suddenly
this is kind of like the 20% of effort gets you 80% of the results, or something like this. Okay?
It's easy to know the results. It's easy to quantify, and it's direct. But when you work with the energy behavior, you can implement actions at the beginning and the results are low. Yeah, you need to be patient. When you're, but suddenly when you don't apply any action or a few actions, the savings grow. Yeah, why is that? It could be illogical, but it's logical because that is a learning curve. A sociological field is obvious that it's a learning process.
So it's sort of like an investment for the future, right? So you're doing all of these measures at the start of your project, but it's like when you invest in the stock market, you get your returns in later months or years. You don't get it always straight away.
Yeah, it's a behavior of the market, and you know that, but it's not the same. It's different. Yeah? It's important to know that because at the beginning you need to be patient, and you need to you need to concentrate the efforts at the beginning, for example. Okay, so let's go to a real cases. I think it's interesting because that it's the concept, and I think the best way to start is with this case at the architectural school. We didn't know that we were working with human factors, especially the first case when we at 2006 we start with the gas consumption, and we got a 35% gas reduction.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine, but the reality was that we had a lot of
There were complementary things that were happening?
No, the people was angry with us.
Oh, people were angry with you. That's not great. Oh, complaints.
Complaints, sorry. They were, we had a lot of complaints. Yeah, it was not really a success case, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but because the people had the story, and they were always with high temperature, and then suddenly when you reduce good temperature, but it
wasn't what they were used to, and so there was a bit of backlash, I guess. Yeah, it was a change.
It's easy to have a resistance.
And this was really your group's first foray into this sort of behavioural changes, right? So this was the first use case where you were learning about how to approach the situation, how to approach the people who are involved, and so forth. Okay.
That was obvious the next year because we got the 25% electricity reduction, but it was easy because it's easier to work with electricity consumption than in gas. It's the first steps to work. Maybe in this case, for example, it was not the most important consumption, but was the easier to change.
Yeah.
And that's the first step. It's better than use of the gas. Now, here we stopped our work. We leave the project, and then the next year they save. Was us. They save 40%.
That's pretty impressive.
But for us as a research team, for us was a tragedy because it was not our.
You couldn't claim those results as part of the project.
But after thinking, after understanding the real process was that the gas and the electricity process was a learning process, and they learned how to implement the logical efficiency of the efficiency, and they applied to water with the same tools, with the monitoring, with the cooperation, with the new knowledge, with everybody. And that was our result, was the teaching process, not about the real work process. I think for us was the most important lesson. And was the first moment we understand that all the buildings impact have an energy impact, but it's not only a consequence of the interface, the climatological conditions, the demand. It's a consequence of the energy culture.
Okay. And this sort of energy culture, obviously, this project was about 2 years long, and you did some training and information dissemination and so forth to the people who are at the architectural school. Did you find that there was a need for refreshing and for reminding people about these kinds of things to keep it in the forefront of their mind about being efficient and using the leads that they needed to and so forth?
Yeah, it's important to introduce or refresh new information if you want to have the same
to
result.
Maintain those results.
Yeah, it's like any learning process. And then the next year we worked with this big building. It was a university library, and we got 90% electricity savings. And it was that. But and in this case, we only work with the behavior.
Okay, so this was a pure case. I think he's in the previous case, it was traditional methods like air conditioning changes and lighting changes and so forth, as well as behavioural. But in this case, it was just purely behavioural changes. This is no new hardware, no big things like that.
For us, was cheaper.
It was cheaper.
But it was after the first case. We thought that why we can work only with the behavior, and was better for me because my hypothesis was the behavior was very important. And this case was a demonstration with the results, but was more interesting the results the next year was because they reduced 33% of electricity consumption, and we were out again. We were out of the project, but we learned that was not what our work was about teaching, not about new instructions and to introduce new instruction. It was more complex than that.
Because when the teaching finishes, the learning doesn't necessarily finish, right? So.
Exactly. Sometimes they unlearn, but sometimes they learn again. And in this case, for example, I remember that the director at the beginning he was to he has a huge resistance. He didn't have any interest in energy, but today, 2 years after, he wrote a paper, academic paper, about how to save energy in libraries, and he was not a technical expert in energy, but
he had some great results to show, right? I guess so.
And he learned a lot, and he knows that. He wrote.
Great.
Okay, and that was interesting. Next project, the auditorium Citra, was in Sant Cugat. It's one of the most important auditoriums in Catalonia, and we saved 80% of electricity consumption. That was fine. Only in behavioral change, but I think the most important was the fast process. Was fast process to learn. They got these results with only 5 months.
Wow. Okay. So 18% saving in 5 months. That's not bad.
They learned the top in a short period of time. And the explanation was the explanation. It was not about me.
I'm sure it was still a great team too, but what was it about the specific project that made it such a short payback period or such a short time to results?
And after this reaction, I thought about that. What was the why it was so successful? And I understood that was because this organization was used to work with challenge. Because a theater organization, they used to work with a deadline.
So this is a performance theatre, so they're always working to, as you said, a deadline. They've got shows maybe every night or most days, and so they have to have everything ready. So they're very used to challenges, to change, to be reactive to things.
And that it's perfect for energy behavior. And they only have a new challenge, energy challenge for them. And that is the lesson is after this project was that we must look at the buildings as a communities, and we have communities who can learn and communities who can't learn. And it's very important in our case. When you only work with the interface, that it's not important, but when you work with energy behavior, it's very important. And for example, it's you can if you have a big building with a lot of small organizations, it's very difficult to work. You need to communicate to every chief of the organization. To need different organizations, it's not easy to collaborate.
There's lots of stakeholders. You have to communicate to everyone. Yes, and it's difficult to do that.
But on the other side, if you have a big organization, only one organization with a lot of buildings, it's easier.
Okay.
Because you have channels to communicate information. There is a policy. You can change the policy. It's easier. It's not the same. And you need to see to look at the buildings as organizations inside the shell. And maybe 1, 2, 3, 10 organizations in one shell, in one building, or one organization for many buildings. That's different.
Okay.
It's very, very important. Then I don't know if we are on time.
I think we still have time. I think.
Thank you. This case, for example, I love this case. It's not a big building. It was a small building, but we get here the most important savings, 60%.
That's really impressive.
Here we all the factors were in the same way. Were in our way.
Okay, so this was a really beneficial use case. It was all of the factors were aligned with what you needed.
Because there was an efficient lighting system. When you have an efficient lighting system, the behavior is very important. You can, if you change your behavior, you save a lot of energy. And here I remember it was a small community. With the energy manager was I don't know the name is the people who work was only one person, and this was a non-expert man, but he was very motivated with the monitoring system.
Great. Okay. So this was not his sole area of expertise because it was a small team. He had lots of different hats to wear in the organization. But he still had a really big interest in the monitoring solution. So it helped him prepare to be able to change and adapt.
They suddenly the energy was the most important thing in the world, and it was incredible. It was a pleasant process. It's small, but for me very important. So we can go.
Let's move on to find out how do we achieve these great savings.
We use. You remember that the information is very important. It's the key of the energy behavior. And now we can see an example of the human factor in your energy management strategy. For example, it's a real case, and we will see on live results. And in this case, we have a big organization with a lot of small office. Similar office, but a lot.
So it's a chain or a group of lots of small offices, but many of them. With one central head organization.
In our point of view, it's easier.
So remember that from before.
It's easier than other cases. And we only need to work at the beginning, to work with a small part of the organization, maybe 6 or 7, in this case, 6 or 7 offices. And a representative office, because we have
So it's a small sample set, and it's representative of the wider sample set. So you've got a range of different buildings in that 6 or 7 that you wanted to work with, but they represent the kind of differences that you saw between the larger, wider set.
We have the essential of the organization. We implant action here. We try to get results, and then the results try to share to all the organization in order to contaminate or
to transmit all of the information. To disseminate it all.
This is the strategy. All the information. And for example, we can catch the information from the meter. It's easier. It's easy because you can take by telecall, or you can with optical with optical gadget, you can take the
So we're collecting the data from meters that are on site.
You can send this information to a visualization software like Dexma, and it's easy to have results and easy to share.
Yeah. Okay.
And easy a visual information. That's very important. So we can go to a real case. For example, Dexma have a lot of possibilities, but for human factor, is not. You can start with only consumption or comparison.
Okay, so you can start with just the very basic tools and see where that gets.
With the electricity consumption, monitoring on electricity consumption is the easy way to learn, you remember, and easy to take the information. Here, for example, you can see this office is one of the 6 offices, and here I wrote a note about meeting. Here was the meeting was 15th of April, and then we can go to comparison in order to compare before and after the action, the learning action.
So what was the action in this case? It was a meeting with the people on site, or it was it putting up posters on the walls, or what was it that you did?
Yeah, it's about you have to change the vision of this piece of the organization, and you have to talk about possibilities of management, but which on or switch off the light. Yeah, it's about the temperature of the climate,
of the climate, the HVAC system.
Yeah, it's not news about it's not new that the action. The new is the motivation.
Yeah,
you need to explain that in an attractive way. Yeah, it must be a pleasure to learn about energy.
So it has to be something that's giving them benefits, but it's also something that they see the value of as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think before as well, when we were talking about this, you were saying that it was important to play off their own ideas as well. So ask the people who are there, what do you do normally, or what do you think is important to do, and make sure that you're aligned in your strategies and so forth, and that they see the value of different types of measures.
Yeah, it's important to talk with the people, because if you can extract solution from them, it always are better than the best of your solution, and then this action is about changing their mind as a team, as a collective change, and
so it's fostering a cooperative sort of environment, right?
Yeah, because we need all the people, and then, for example, the monitoring system. When you share with them this monitoring is like a challenge. It's not obvious, but next weeks we share with you the results. It's fine. Now it's like a joke, like a game. Sorry, it's like a joke. And for that is very important, because we need to use tools as a positive reinforcement.
Okay.
This is basic in energy learning, and in this case, for example, we act we are saying this real case is we acted in 15th of April, but here you can see this. We save energy, yes, but those 2 days was a holiday. Friday was a holiday.
This was the Easter weekend, I think.
Exactly. It was,
so not representative of a normal week.
We need another.
Well, that looks very impressive.
Yeah. Be careful with that.
Yeah.
The passion is important, but be careful. And now another week. Yeah, we have another holiday.
Was and so the next week we had a different holiday.
Yeah, we need to compare with the best week.
Yeah.
Before and after, and here we find the best. Here we see that it's a real comparison, and we can see that we save close to 10%. Yeah, and the next. That it's important, because when I found this image, I take a picture and then I share quickly with by mail. It's sent to the director. It's easy to understand, and told them, go.
Well,
You are improving.
yeah,
It's
you're
very
improving already, so keep it up because it's obviously having some results
Okay.
even now, like 1 or 2 weeks after we made
Yeah.
the changes.
And next week,
Mhm.
the results improved. We were close to 20%.
Wow. Yeah.
And then the next one,
Mhm.
we were close to the top. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a success case,
Mhm.
and we can share.
Mhm.
We can share with the office,
Mhm.
but we can share this success case to all the organizations. It's a
Mhm.
story. It's a testimony. It's very important. It's easy to get these results. It's easy to show, to share, and that it's a real case. It's how to work with a big organization, with a part and a part of organization and a little success you can share and to create a dynamic process.
So in this case, within let's say a month or so, we've already reached 20% in energy savings compared to sort of previous weeks. So are there refresher tools that you do to make sure we maintain these percentages, and then there's new measures that we might take later on to improve this even more?
Yeah, it's strange, but when you work with this strategy, it's not very important to know what will happen in the next month.
Okay.
Yeah, because I only capture the instant and share.
Yeah.
And I am only trying to share an episode. Yeah. It's not all the series.
Okay.
It's not
so this is designed more as sort of feedback and in a really timely way. So very quickly, you started doing some changes on the 15th of April, and already within a month or even a few weeks in this case, right? We've got really significant savings already. So that's like motivation itself to keep going.
Yeah, but the result is the change of all the organization.
Yeah.
A piece is its own episode. It's enough. Yeah, it's better if they improve, and it's fantastic. But in this case, it's not a big building. Yeah, it's only small. We need to provoke a result, an immediate result, and to share.
Right.
And to have a different results in different places, representative of all organizations. That's our intention is different, and I think it's you need to use the limited resources, and that you need to be efficient. And but the reality is that other case similar, another office, we did the same, but the results was not a success. Case.
So
sometimes happens.
And sometimes it happens. So what in this case was different to the successful case?
Yeah, it was, in my opinion, these two cases are in the same region. It's not about the different climate conditions. It was, I think, because this office was not easy to manage, because there was only one sector on, or lighting was only one option, on or off, which on or which off. It was not possible to manage to use only one part. That
Whereas
was
in the other building, there were multiple different circuits on and off. You could have much more control over different things like this.
It was more flexible. One case was more flexible. It was more the opposite.
Okay.
And but sometimes it happens, because sometimes the organization has problems. They are not thinking about energy. It's not your work is not enough to change, but it's about learning process and organization.
And this was part of your small sample set, right? So you were looking for a wide sample of different types of topologies of buildings and things. So this can inform the sort of corporate customer in this case. When you're opening new shops or new locations, you should focus on having this more flexible kind of lighting structures or heating and cooling and that.
That is another lesson, is that if you understand the human factor, you need to share with the people the energy management. Not free, but you can convince that you can convert as an ally of your energy strategy.
Yes, make allies of your energy.
Okay, this is my way to think. Okay, and So the last step is about the future. Yeah, I want to talk about that because now and in the future, buildings are full of people, and I think the human factor will be always there. And I think after working with energy behavior, I think the future is to enhance the game experience.
Okay.
Like we talk about challenge, we talk about work team. I think this is the next step.
So this is about fostering sort of healthy competition, maybe between different locations in a company or between different floors in a building or something.
But it's not only about competition, it's about competition, but it's about to share your knowledge.
Okay.
You need to incentivize the people, not the best consumption, the best savings, but you can incentive the people who share their knowledge.
Okay, because that's the method by which we hope that information gets further out there. So the more sharing there is, it's sort of like when you're sharing your like 10% off Uber or something like that, and your friends share and you get another 10% off and things like that. It's like a share economy.
And we were trying to change all the organization, not to have the best office. The best office is if there is only one good, we need to change all. And if the people, if there are the energy culture of the organization is to share best practices, will be better for all. If you have to think about all the options, it's that difficult. But if everybody think about that and share the information, the knowledge, all the organization know better and increase their knowledge. That's the big impact of energy savings.
Okay. So it's important for the monitoring solutions that you have as well to have lots of options for sharing information, sending reports or sending those screenshots, like you said, and things like that. So it's an important aspect.
Yeah, I think the technology
has to be the enabler to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, it's the technology, the information technology, like software of monitoring. It's important to be friendly, easy to understand, because we have a lot of energy managers, and everyone needs to use this information to understand this information. Yeah, it's not only about the official energy managers, and we think that Dexma is improving in this way, and then it's easy to build a game strategies. Not obvious. It's about game experience, challenge, teamwork. Yeah, and I think sometimes when I work with human factor, the chief of the organization showed and explained me that the best of the process was not the energy saving, was the process of working together.
Yeah, okay, because that can help a lot of other parts of the organization as well, right? It's not just the energy part.
It's not only about the energy.
Right, okay. Fantastic.
We are at the end now.
Yeah, so I think we've got about 10 minutes or so left.
Okay.
Do we have any questions?
Any questions?
Let's have a look. I'm going to have a quick look at this. Okay, so we've got one of our attendees asking, so what kind of percentages of savings do you think we could expect to achieve from doing just the human factor, so a purely behavioral approach to energy efficiency?
Yeah, my experience, but it's not about my experience, it's about academic research, is between 10 to 20% total energy is enough. This is usual. If you have 5%, it's an unsuccessful case. But in my experience, that is it possible? It's possible to save more than 20%, 30%. In the best case was 60%. That's incredible. Is it possible?
Okay, well, that's great. Fantastic. Okay. Another question we've got here is, how easy is it to implement, changes to behavioural aspects, and how can someone get started if they don't know much about this other than watching this great webinar?
I think it's easy, or it's easy in if you change your mind. I think the first step is to change, and you understand.
So the first step is like to be open, right? To thinking about new ways about thinking about buildings, about this kind of systems type of approach.
The new logical process, and the use of monitoring system. When you can start with electricity consumption is easy. I think you can get the most important results with the use of with the use of only the electricity consumption, the total electricity consumption, and with a few knowledge about the software.
Okay.
So then you can learn, but at the beginning is easy.
So there's no need to install a massive range of sub-meters in each location. You just need to have your physical meter or main meters installed. You don't need to invest in a whole lot of technology as well. Just have a good monitoring solution, that kind of main metering type of stuff, and you can already start from there. And I guess then it's a case of talking to the people who are on site, who are the official, unofficial energy managers, and getting their feedback about what they do and reinforcing those sorts of things, and really bringing energy efficiency to the forefront of their mind, right? Yeah. Cool. So on that note, what role does technology have? So, hardware, software, what role does technology have to complement human behavior, do you think?
I think it's, for example, for me it's impossible to work with human factor without technology, because we started in architecture school with the monitoring, and for me it's like a blind. For me it's impossible. But I'm not it's not important to be the best expert in software, but you
need to have the right tools to do your job. And like you were saying before, in that building that wasn't so successful, the fact that they didn't have a flexible lighting system or flexible systems, so you need to have that kind of enabling technology on site as well to really make the most of the kind of behavioural changes that you want to make, right? So there's technology is an enabler, but it's also the fact that behavioural changes make the most out of technological changes or new technology on site as well, right? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so I think we're almost out of time. I'm not sure if there's any other questions. I don't think so right now. We will be sharing the recording with everybody who has signed up to the webinar. So if you missed out on a couple of minutes of this, or you didn't take down a few notes, or you want to see the slides, don't worry. In the next few days, you'll receive a link to see the webinar again. So from Dexma, thank you so much for attending, and thank you to Galdrick for your wonderful insights. Always great to get some real world examples. And we hope to see you next time in Dex's next webinar. Okay, thanks everyone. Goodbye.